Andrew Cuomo to resign.
It's unacceptable for someone who has done so much damage to continue in the role. He's got to step aside.
That's New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio. President Joe Biden has also called for the same thing following the state attorney general's report alleging sexual harassment at a toxic work environment at the governor's office. Here's ABC's Ariel Reshev.
Cuomo's support has essentially eroded from every top Democrat. The president himself, the House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, 2 senators from his state, all calling on him to resign. And then we also saw the Assembly Speaker say it's abundantly clear that Cuomo has lost the confidence of the Assembly's Democratic majority and he can no longer remain in office. And that is the body that would undertake impeachment proceedings.
The Pfizer COVID vaccine could get full FDA approval by early September. That could push more skeptics to get the shot. Several universities and hospitals are expected to issue mandates once the shot moves out of emergency use authorization phase. New York City says people will have to be vaccinated if they want to eat at a restaurant, attend a play or a movie, even go to a gym later this fall. COVID cases are up in almost every county. Those most seriously ill and hospitalized are unvaccinated. At the Olympics in Tokyo, a world record broken without winning the race. Here's ABC's Jim Ryan.
Sydney McLaughlin of East Orange, New Jersey, was trailing to the very end in the women's 400-meter hurdles, but somehow fought through the heat and humidity in the last few yards to overtake Olympic champion Dalila Muhammad, who lives not far from McLaughlin in New York City. Both women actually beat the world record that McLaughlin set during Olympic trials this year. McLaughlin's 51.46 seconds wins her gold. Muhammad's 51.58 gets her the silver. Jim Ryan, ABC News at the Summer Olympics in Tokyo.
American silver medal shot putter Raven Saunders being investigated after she stepped off the podium at the medal ceremony, made a signal with her wrists. This is ABC News.
Can you name the 3 habits of healthy hygiene? We shower, we brush our teeth, and we... Wait a minute. What third habit? Think about it. The pandemics reminded us that the nose is your body's filter against a constant invasion of airborne germs. Your nose traps allergens, bacteria, and viruses, but like any filter, the more it's clogged up, the less it works. Now it's easy to clean your nose with Navage. My name's Martin Hoke, and I did not invent nasal irrigation. It's been around thousands of years, but I did invent Navage to make nasal irrigation an easy habit for everyone. Navage uses powered suction to flush out germs that cause congestion, or worse, can make you very sick. People love Navage. It has 4.7 stars with over 70,000 online reviews. And over 2 million people use Navage to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. Go to Navage.com or find Navage at Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, Bed Bath, and select Walmarts. Make cleaning your nose your third habit. Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
We are learning more about a deadly incident just outside the Pentagon where a police officer was stabbed and shot. Here's ABC's Louis Martinez.
The Pentagon police officer died, according to law enforcement officials. The official said the attacker was also killed in the incident that put the Pentagon into lockdown for a few hours. So far, it's unknown what prompted the attack against the police officer. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has expressed his condolences to the officer's family and ordered that flags at the Pentagon be flown at half-staff. Louis Martinez, ABC News, the Pentagon.
Republicans looking to run against California Governor Gavin Newsom in the recall election, getting set to debate tonight. 2 of the top contenders, though, won't be there. Radio host Larry Elder is opting for a fundraiser instead, and Caitlyn Jenner has been in Australia filming a reality TV show. Several people hurt after an accident involving an iceberg at a museum dedicated to the Titanic. ABC's Derek Dennis explains.
It was an iceberg display inside the Titanic Museum in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee that suddenly collapsed. Museum goers rushing out of the way, but several were injured in Monday's accident. By Tuesday, the museum was back open to visitors, including Carrie Pitor.
It's kind of scary, what if that was us?
Turns out she and her family were supposed to visit the very day of the collapse, but changed their plans. And after seeing what happened, Pitor says the display might need to be redesigned.
Just something maybe smaller that everyone could just touch without having to worry about it falling or hurting somebody.
Derek Dennis, ABC News.
This is ABC News.
O'Reilly. Syntec is back and better than ever at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec is a premium full synthetic motor oil at an affordable price. Right now, get 5 quarts of Syntec full synthetic and a Wix filter for just $31.99. Plus, earn double O Rewards points. Minimize friction, heat, and wear on your engine with Syntec full synthetic motor oil exclusively at
O'Reilly Auto Parts. The reasons more and more people are coming to NC Tractor to do business are the selection of Massey Ferguson tractors, Bobcat zero-turn mowers, fantastic customer service, and the special Phil Sheehan seasonal discounts. NC Tractor on Railroad Avenue in Rutherford is making dreams come true for folks who want the wrist.
We're going to see temperatures today head into the upper 70s and lower 80s with a few passing showers around. Those showers will not stick around for too long because tonight clouds are going to clear out and temperatures will dip into the low to upper 60s. We have another small chance of seeing rain develop by the afternoon on Thursday. Highs will reach the low to mid 80s as our temperatures are expected to rebound. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Thanks very much, Peter Sherwood, for that information from the Weather Center. It's 7:05 right now. We're 63 degrees here at beautiful downtown Whiteside Road. And the weekend looks pretty good, too. Partly cloudy with a few, about 30% chance of scattered showers on Saturday. Temperature is up to 86. And then on Sunday, mostly sunny with highs around 91. No rain in that forecast. No rain in the forecast again for Monday and Tuesday. But we got to have a few threats of rain for the next couple of days off and on these next few hours. Today doesn't look very promising for rain, but we'll have some the rest of the week, hopefully. 6 minutes after 7, we welcome you to the second hour of 3 of the morning wake-up call. Glad to have you on board. We'll check in with our reporters in just a few moments, find out what's been going on in your neighborhood as we get to the fire district reports. Right now I have these death announcements. Diane Tony Green, 63 of Forest City, passed away August 1st at Adrium Health in Shelby. There will be a delay of several days in making arrangements. Please check back with Washburn and Dorsey website obituary for any updates on this one. Diane Tony Green of Forest City. Deborah Taylor, age 59 of Forest City, passed away Saturday, July 31st at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills. A memorial service will be conducted at 7 o'clock Thursday, August 5th at the Harrelson Funeral Chapel with Reverend Ricky Petit officiating. The family will receive friends 1 hour prior to service time at the funeral home. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services has been entrusted with the arrangements. An online guest registry available at www.harrelsonfuneralhome.com for Deborah Taylor. Emmeline Laura Biddix Henderson, age 71 of Bethany Church Road, passed away Sunday, August 1st at Fairhaven of Forest City. A celebration of Emmeline's life will be held 1 p.m. today at Crow's Funeral Chapel with burial to follow at Eternal Hills Memorial Park. Family will receive friends 1 hour prior to the service, and online condolences may be made at crowmortuary.com. Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Emmeline Laura Biddix Henderson. James William Couch, 80 of Rutherfordton, former owner of Ruth Tire and Battery, passed away on August 2nd at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills. The family will hold a private graveside service. Again, that's James William Couch of Rutherfordton. Joanne Patterson Birch, age 91, died Friday, July 30th at Oak Grove Healthcare. Funeral services will be held 12 p.m. Thursday, August 5th at Western North Carolina Veterans Cemetery with Bishop Dale Workman officiating. Again, that's Joanne Patterson Birch. Those are the death announcements we have in-house this morning. If you want the complete information of these and others as they become available to us, be sure to tune in this morning at 11:35 and this afternoon at 5:10 as part of the afternoon report. Complete information on all of these as they become available to us. Well, the Braves had a good night last night. They beat the Cardinals 6-1. They'll be at it again this evening. 8:10 first pitch, Braves and Cardinals, 7 o'clock airtime, 8:10 first pitch. They play the Cardinals tonight and tomorrow night. Then they'll move to the Washington Nationals and play them. We want you to mark this date on your calendar coming up. Be sure to join WCAB Gang as we head out for a broadcast remote. Thursday, August 12th, it'll be next week from 10 a.m. until 12 noon at the brand new location of the Appliance Center, 793 West Main Street in Forest City. We'll be there broadcasting live, free Domino's pizza, cold drinks, giveaways, super deals, and lots of fun. Hope to see you out there. We're anxious to get out there. Hope you'll come and join us.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up from the NRIA.net studios in New York. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. Investors, Bill O'Reilly here. Are you sitting on capital or wanting to diversify? The NRIA Real Estate Development Fund provides returns right now. They capitalize on strategic markets. They offer payouts of 10% annualized returns plus bonuses up to 21%. They are a 15-year industry leader who have seen it all. Start your due diligence at nria.net or call 800-800-1414. That's easy. 800-800-1414.
An offer of securities is only made by the NRIA Private Placement Memorandum. Read it first. Past performance does not guarantee future results. NRIA is a real estate development firm. Learn more at nria.net.
On this Wednesday, the question of woke corporations is very interesting. Giant, money-grubbing companies embracing far-left policies like quasi-socialism, cancel culture, and critical race theory. Why? Disney and Coca-Cola are two of the most woke. Recently, the people running Disney ordered their park employee broadcasters, the loudspeaker men and women, not to say the words, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is beyond stupid. Coke apparently believes that showing an ID in order to vote is racist. That's great analysis, isn't it? I think you should show an ID in order to buy Coca-Cola. It has 52 grams of sugar. Drinking that every day can kill you, just like tobacco. And you have to show an ID to buy tobacco. So the woke corporations have made their stand, and so have I. I will not patronize them. Now this. As you know, Joe Biden won the election, and the economic future in the country is a bit cloudy. That's why I am recommending you diversify with gold and silver. And the only company I trust is American Hartford Gold. Please call them right now. Tell them Bill O'Reilly sent you, and they'll give you up to $1,500 of free silver on your first order. So don't wait. Call 877-444-GOLD. 877-444-GOLD GOLD, or text GOLD to 65532. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
What can I possibly do to make this stressful time a little better? Here's one thing I found. It's a small thing, a simple thing, a remarkable thing. Smile. You can share a smile from more than 6 feet apart. You can share it socially with the whole world. In fact, right now, I'm smiling at you. And I hope you're smiling back, because smiling is in you. From PassItOn.com.
We all make choices about alcohol. Kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad. Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Hey, remind me about that party again?
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations, and they want honest answers in everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path, because when you talk, they hear you. Learn more at underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Over a half-century of family-friendly broadcasting. This is WCAB AM 590 and the new 100.9 FM.
In the Old West, virtually anyone who owned a horse always felt he had the fastest one. Racing horses from here to there was the number one leisure time activity, next to spending time in saloons, that is. And it wasn't unusual to win or lose everything on the speed of a horse. But on August 2, 1868, a very unusual race took place. A group of horsemen were talking about horseflesh and the men that rode them. In the process, an Edward Whipple declared that no man alive had the physical endurance to ride a horse 300 miles in less than 15 hours. Of course, there was someone in the group that took the opposite side. and so a wager was established and a race planned. Neil Morey was selected as the rider. It was decided that Neil would ride around a mile-long track 300 times. He could change horses as often as necessary, but he had to be the sole rider. At 4:40 in the morning, with 30 additional horses standing by, Neil started around the track at a gallop. At 200 miles, Neil was ahead of schedule, so he decided to take a 20-minute break. As Neil got closer to the 300-mile mark, his endurance started to wane. He had to be helped off and back on the horse. At 6:49 p.m., he passed the 300-mile mark. He made it in 14 hours and 9 minutes. Neil took one more lap just to make sure he had surpassed the distance. With a smile on his face, he got off the horse and hobbled off to put salve on his sore, chafed legs and seat. I'm sure the sight of his walking away was that of one bow-legged cowboy. You've just heard another story from Old West Radio. I'm Dakota Livesay.
For a rootin' tootin' great meal, let Jesse James prepare your next lunch. He's got a menu chock full of fresh cooked burgers, fresh salads, hot dogs made any way you like, taco salads, specialty burgers, sandwiches, french fries, and onion rings. Enjoy refreshing milkshakes, Coke floats, or a cone of hand-dipped ice cream. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 to 4, closed Wednesdays and Sundays. Jesse James Railroad Express, 531 Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton. Call 447-4644. And don't forget the 99-cent hot dogs with mustard, chili, and onions on Mondays only.
Now let's check in with Deputy Greenway. He has the news and information from the Sheriff's Department this morning, and he's on the air with me right now. Good morning. How are you doing?
Doing good, sir. How about you?
Doing good, thank you. Tell us what's been going on over there.
Okay, in the last 24 hours, we've had 184 calls, made 11 arrests. There's currently 186 in the jail. Got 2 of our incident reports to read off. Robert Scruggs reported a incident of felony breaking and entering the motor vehicle, and we had Brandy Mode reported a breaking and entering the motor vehicle and felony larceny. And got some arrest reports to read off. Rodney Brown was arrested for possession of methamphetamine, drug paraphernalia. Floyd Tate was arrested for simple assault. Robert Shepard was arrested for failure to appear on misdemeanor. We had Harold Bracken was arrested for failure to appear on misdemeanor. Jacob Green arrested for failure to appear on misdemeanor. Amber Rich was charged with possession of controlled substance in the jail. Christian Harden arrested for breaking and entering. We had Pamela Clemens was arrested for possession of methamphetamine. We had Angela Morrow was arrested for multiple drug possession violations. Misty Ledford was also arrested for multiple drug possession violations, and that's all we got for you this morning.
Deputy Greenway, thank you very much for that report. Now, I hope you be safe out there today.
Thank you, you too.
And we'll check with 911 Communications Center after we make this phone call.
It's our 30th anniversary, but you get the gifts. That's right, Carolina West Wireless is celebrating our anniversary and celebrating you in a big way with incredible savings, like $350 off a new iPhone 12 or a $150 credit when you bring in your own device. And as our special gift to you, get an additional $30 off any other device promo in our store. Stop by today and let's celebrate our 30th anniversary together. Carolina West Wireless, celebrating 30, celebrating you. Certain restrictions apply. See store for details or visit carolinawest.com/terms and conditions.
911 Communication, our next stop. And Kylie's on the phone to give us that update. Kylie, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Tell us what kind of calls you received the past 24 hours.
In the past 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 Communications has processed 459 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of 49 for EMS, 15 for rescue, 184 for the Sheriff's Office, 108 for Forest City, 5 for Lake Lure, 40 for Rutherfordton, 74 for Spindale. Cliffside responded to a structure fire with Sandy Mush. Ellenburg and STO assisted. Forest City responded to a motor vehicle accident. Rutherfordton responded to a residential fire alarm. STO and Sandy Mush responded to a motor vehicle accident, and that's all we have.
Thanks, Kylie. You have a great day over there.
Thank you. You too.
Bye. Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply is a variety store. Here's why I say that. Cedar shavings, 5.0 cubic feet, $7.99 per bag. They have Pontiac red potatoes, candy baked potatoes, $18 for 50 pound. River Run dog food, specially priced. Plenty of horse quality hay. Refill propane, $10.99 for a 20-pound tank. Wrangler Sweet Feed, $8.69 for the 50-pound bag. Cardinal Tissue and paper towels, 6-pack, $4.49. Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply is the largest farm supply store, and you should come and see how much you can save. 188 Whiteside Road, Rutherford. Ruby Taylor is reporting next from Danieltown, SDO Fire District, with our Wednesday morning report. Ruby, what's been happening over there?
Well, the fire department had 2 calls, and one was to a vehicle accident, and the other was to assist Cliffside on a structural fire. And on my birthday calendar today, I've got Carolyn Cantrell having birthday and Katie Glover having birthday, and hope these 2 people have a nice day. Signs are in the breast today and tomorrow. Jim, that's all I got.
Thanks, Ruby. Enjoy your day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Honey, I got the new Premier Cash scratch-off.
Oh, what should I wear? Sequins or satin?
We could win millions. Go with sequatin.
Yeah, sequatin.
The champagne is chilled.
Did you get doggy's tux?
Yeah.
Play like a millionaire. Premier Cash from the North Carolina Education Lottery with top prizes of $2 million. It's the most premier thrill around. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 3.08. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Checking in now with the Fairfield Mountains Fire District, and Gary Wilson's on the phone, and he's got all the news for us. Gary, good morning.
Good morning, Jim. You enjoy that rain yesterday?
I really did. It was really nice to have that.
Yeah, temperatures weren't too bad either. That felt pretty good the last couple of days.
But I'm ready for another beautiful day like what we're going to have today.
I think we are, and not going to be much heat coming back till maybe the weekend. It'll crank back up again, but we'll take a break while we get it, because we still got the rest of August to put up with. It can get hot in August and September.
Yes.
So we'll take what we got and be glad to get it. And I know fire calls the last 24 hours, sitting on about 67 degrees this morning, and had a half-inch of rain yesterday. 2 or 3 good showers come through. And everything's peaceful and quiet up here this morning. Hopefully it'll stay that way for a few days now.
See a lot of tourists come through up that way?
Yeah, we still got a good many people in. You know, we got a good summer.
Yeah, good.
Good summer so far. So hopefully it'll continue on. Everybody stay safe and enjoy themselves, and spend a lot of time outside, and safer outside than inside of a building anyway. So play your golf and go your fishing and enjoy yourself and have a good summer.
There you go. Gary, thanks so much. You enjoy your day, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, you take care.
Thanks. Bye.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
And a man who knows everything going on up in the Hudlow Fire District is Mr. Bob Hodge, and he's on the phone right now to dispense that information to us. Bob, how you doing this morning?
We are doing just fine on this hump day morning.
Tell you, this week already rolling through.
That's right. It's going to be half gone here, so have a full week of August already just about gone here. But things are going along good up here this morning, Jim, and Hadn't had any rain overnight, but we got some good rain yesterday morning off and on there for a while, so that helped out a lot, and that cooler weather felt good. So, and with the fire department overnight, it's been quiet. Hadn't had any fire calls, so that's good. So everything's going along good so far this morning. I had to get out and take Aunt Jean to the tooth dentist early this morning. So
oh, my.
Get her fixed up. I think she has to have a tooth bridged in where she had one pulled, and they're working on that. So.
Oh, my. Well, I don't envy her at all. I wish she didn't have to do that, but.
Sometimes you have to, though.
Yep, that's right.
Well, Jim, you take care, and you have a good day.
I'll do it, Bob. You too. You and I, Gene, have a good one, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush. Brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
Sue Price is up next. She's over in the Cherry Mountain Fire District, beautiful part of the county, and we'll say hello to her and get her report. Good morning, Sue.
Good morning, Jim.
You feeling good today?
Nice morning over here. Yeah, feeling good.
Good. Yes.
And let's see, I have an anniversary on my church calendar for Jim and Kathy Hackney, so I hope they'll have a good day. I don't have anything on my personal calendar. Fairview Fairview has birthdays for Jamie Swafford and Grayson Van Dyke, so I hope those two will have a good day, and don't have any First Broad's calendar yet, so that's just a few celebrating. I hope anybody that's having a birthday or anniversary will have a real good day on their special day and enjoy it. And in my announcements, there'll be a benefit for Emily Bailey, August 14th, from 12 to 4 p.m. at the Golden Valley Community Clubhouse. That's at 127 Jonestown Road in Boston. It'll be a 50-50 raffle, a silent auction, hot dog plates for sale, and a bake sale. And we hope there'll be a good turnout for that. She's a little 11-year-old girl, and she's had several surgeries already for brain cancer, and she's currently in the Children's Hospital at Winston-Salem. So let's ask everybody to keep Emily in their prayers and come out and help with the benefit if you can. And so far, that's the only announcement I have. It's just quiet and calm over here, looking for a good day, and I hope you'll have one, Jim.
Thanks, Sue. Keep improving, and I'll see you next time.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Braves again tonight with the Cardinals. They beat them last night by a score of 6-1, and they'll be at it again this evening. First pitch is 8:10, kind of late in the evening, but that's 7 o'clock airtime. They talk about the games forever and ever. Then they start playing, and the first pitch is 8:10 tonight with the Braves and the Cardinals. I'm happy to share good news with you. If you have a septic tank on your property, you'll be glad to know there is a new professional pumper in town, Mid-South Pumping, owned and operated by one of our own, John Torvinen. Mid-South Pumping serves local communities such as Rutherford, Polk, Cleveland, McDowell, and Lake Lure, offering a wide variety of services at affordable prices. Get it done before summer gets here and really gets bad, if you know what I mean. Mid-South Pumping offers around-the-clock services to ensure your business doesn't become everyone else's. Count on Mid-South Pumping for pumping septic tanks, locating services, uncovering septic tank lids, and more. Make that call to Mid-South Pumping in Rutherfordton at 828-755-6280. All right, call them if you got some needs there. They'll sure be glad to come out and take care of you. All right, let's head up to the Shingle Holler Fire District in Tawatino. Why? Tina, good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
Does anybody ever call it Shingle Holler?
All the time.
Yeah. Well, I feel right at home. Feel right at home this morning.
Well, this morning it is a beautiful morning already. We had some wonderful rain yesterday, and that was just awesome. And for the Potty Knob Baptist Church, sorry about that, Potty Knob Baptist Church birthday and anniversary calendar, we have an anniversary for Keith and Tina Hill. So we wish them a great big day. There is no birthdays or anniversaries on Pleasant Groves, and the fire department hadn't contacted me this morning, so I'm hoping they were all quiet. And for upcoming events, tonight is the last night for revival at Piney Knob Baptist Church, 7 p.m. Come on out and enjoy a special singing as well. They also ask that you come out on Sunday, August 22nd, to the John Lancaster family. We'll be singing during their p.m. service, so that'll be at 6 p.m. And Pilgrim Way Baptist Church has their last night of Bible school and revival together. It's tonight. Evangelist Mike Bagwell of Tunnel Hill, Georgia, is bringing the message, and there is Bible school for birth to 8th grade, and there's special singing tonight as well. So that is all I've got on my calendar right now.
All right. It's going to be a great day.
It is. It's already a great day.
It is indeed. Did you ever know how Piney Knob got its name?
No.
I don't either.
Do you know?
No, I don't either. I was wondering. I'm always curious at names of communities and how they establish those names. A lot of them are interesting. I just wondered about Piney Knob.
You have got my brain questioning, so I might just have to check into that.
All right.
I know how Shingle Hollow got its name, but not
How'd Shingle Hollow get its name?
From making shingles.
Oh, really?
down in the holler. The way I understand it is it was one of the biggest in the county, and maybe there were very few, and so people came to Shingle Hollow to get their shingles.
That makes sense. Mm-hmm. Well, there must be a logical story about Piney Knob as well, but we'll let you do your research and find out and report back to us.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you.
Thanks, Tina. You have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye. That's Tina White reporting out of the Shingle Hollow Fire District this morning, 32 minutes after 7 o'clock. Let me brag on Hutchins Pest Control a minute. Don't let the pest bug you when Hutchins Pest Control is as close as a phone call. Honest, dependable, professional, and on-time service may be the reason they keep getting voted best pest control. If you have a pest problem, call this family-run business at 287-5171. Licensed in North and South Carolina and fully insured and bonded. Get a free estimate when you call Hutchins Pest Control and be sure the job is done right. That's Hutchins Pest Control. Call them today at 287-5171 and they'll be right there. Imagine being surrounded by comfort. At Immaculate Heating and Air Conditioning, they offer ultimate home comfort by Coleman. They will install a Coleman high-efficiency heating and cooling system and handle any service and maintenance, all for one low monthly payment with zero out-of-pocket costs for 10 years. That's right, 10 years with no service or repair fees, no maintenance fees, no unexpected cost at all. Ultimate home comfort. It's more comfort all around. Contact Nathan Blackburn at 828-755-5788. That's 755-5788 or visit ImmaculateHeatingandAir.com. Contact Nathan. That is a good deal, folks. That is a good deal. 7:33. Now let's head up to Union Mills and find out what's going on up there. Brenda Kelly's on the phone to give us that instant news. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you on this wonderful Wednesday morning?
I'm loving looking outside and seeing it clear. The sun's about to peek out behind the buildings over there, and I think it's going to be a wonderful day in the neighborhood.
That's right. It's cool right now, so you better enjoy it.
Yes. I hope it stays a little bit cool. Our Foothills Journal is supposed to be delivered today.
Oh,
and
good.
We hope it's not too hot when they come in. They drop them on pallets out in front of the building because they can't come in. They can't get in the door, so we have to then unwrap them and untangle them and bring them back, stack them in here till we get rid of them.
Oh, my goodness.
So I hope it's not too hot today.
Yeah, well, maybe it won't be.
And I hope to get here today.
Anyway, yeah, I always look forward to that. There's always a lot of information in it. I enjoy it.
Good. Well, it'll be a good one again this year, I hope.
Well, that's good. What year are you featuring, or we have to wait and see?
You have to wait and see.
Okay.
We'll surprise you.
You keep the suspense as long as you can.
That's right.
Well, let's see. I've got 62 degrees on the front porch. I don't have any birthdays or anniversaries. But in ways of announcements, Friday, August the 6th, will be the Carly Arwood Band, 7 p.m. at the Union Mills Learning Center. And on Saturday, August the 7th, ASI Alumni Reunion starts at 10 a.m. Annual meeting at 3 p.m. And Sunday, August the 8th, ASI luncheon available for cost of the meal. Reverend John Cope will lead service, and all alumni events will be held at the Union Mills Learning Center. And then we've got, let's see here, Nanny Clan Reunion, Sunday, August the 15th, 2021, 12:30 p.m., Round Hill Baptist Church Fellowship Hall at 6585 Hudlow Road, Union Mills, NC, 28167. For information, please contact Diane Nanny at 828-429-2446. And then buffet breakfast at the Gilkey School Community Center starts at 7 a.m. and goes to 10 a.m. This will be Saturday, August the 14th. Adults, $7. Kids, 6 to 12, $3. Kids 5 and under free. It's all you can eat, and they got all kind of good food on there, and money goes to help rebuild the old school. So far, that's all I got going on.
I think I've asked you this before, but I've forgotten. How did Union Mills get its name?
Well, to be truthful with you, I don't know. The one that could tell you that in my house is no longer with me. So, and I come here from Spindale, but I don't know how Spindale got its name either. So there you are.
I don't know.
And they done away with frog level, so we don't have to worry about it no more. I always liked that frog level.
Yeah, that was unique. People would talk about that for a while. We only have. I get Robin Lattimore in here one of these mornings, and let him give us. He's the historian around here, so he should know.
Yeah, and he's from up around where, Green Hill?
I'm not sure. He's a.
I'm not sure either, but for some reason that just sticks in my mind.
he's a noted author and historian, and highly acclaimed. So he should know that, and we'll get him in one of these mornings.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting program.
Yeah.
And so you're going live.
We're going live next Thursday, August the 12th, 10 a.m. to 12 noon.
Been a while since you've done that.
Oh, it's been a while, and boy, I tell you, we've missed it, and I hope our listeners have missed it. I hope they'll come out in droves to the Appliance Center and enjoy the broadcast, enjoy some pizza and drinks and giveaways and super deals and lots of fun.
That's good. Yeah. Well, I guess you better head to Ellenburg and see what Luther Sweet Thing Gilligan's got to say.
Well, you enjoy the day, and I will see you tomorrow.
Okay, catch you later.
Thanks. Bye.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
All right, Luther Gilligan, tell us all you know about what's going on over there in Ellenboro.
Not a whole lot happening. It's fairly quiet this morning. Everybody's just getting their biscuits or gas and heading on out to work. See, the fire department had one call. Yes, went down up Cliffside, but it got canceled before they got there. Wasn't anything to it. And nothing else is going on down here, so you have a great day up there, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Well, I hope you have high expectations of today and get everything accomplished that you're looking for.
Everything I plan to do, I'm planning to get done today.
All right. I'll see you tomorrow, Luther.
All right, take care now.
All right, bye-bye. Well, it's time now for birthdays and anniversaries. We'll celebrate on the 4th of August, August the 4th. If you're celebrating, call us now and let us celebrate with you. We'll give you a big shout-out this morning. Todd's standing by out there. The phone lines are cleared, 287-3356, and we'll do birthdays and anniversaries coming up here in just a few moments. Nobody gets a better deal than the customers at Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record of the best deals. Sisk Family Ford, Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealer, has recently been recognized as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. That speaks well of their commitment to serve their customers well. Come take advantage of the springtime sales event and get the automobile you've been wanting. Look for all the new design 2021 F-150 at Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealership. That's Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City.
Cheryl, have you been to the Homeworks Design Center inside Henson Building Materials in Forest City?
Oh, yes. Shana, David, and William are incredible at designing kitchen and bath cabinetry for my new she shed.
Your what?
And they have a full line of windows and doors on display in their 5,000 square foot showroom. And they'll install any ones you pick out for me.
Oh, you're too good to me.
I know. With selling and installing, it's basically one-stop shopping.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street, Forest City.
Building starts here.
To win in sports, you must adjust your strategy as the game changes. The same is true of investments. Why not let Andrew Tisdale, your Edward Jones financial advisor, help you create a game plan for financial success? Call 828-287-9197 and get started today. That's Andrew Tisdale at Edward Jones Financial Advisor, 828-287-9197. Well, when the kids or grandkids start crying for pizza, give them a real pizza. Give them a pizza from Granny B's, one of those delicious Granny B's pizza combos. You know, you can buy some of those nationally advertised pizzas. There's nothing there, hardly, except a little stuff on the top and maybe some pepperoni. But you want a real pizza? Get this Granny B's pizza combo. Choose from 13 different combinations. Here's the phone number to call to order yours Tuesday through Saturday. 286-9012, 286-9012. You'll never go back to the others once you've had a Granny B's combo pizza. And save a little room for one of those Granny B's Daylight Donuts. I know you'll love that. Now it is birthday time.
Happy birthday.
We want to wish Mara Short, 32, works for the town of Rutherfordton. We want to wish Mara a happy 32nd birthday. Curtis Harden over in Rutherfordton's having a birthday. Lisa White over in Forest City celebrating birthday. And I want to wish my grandson Luke Marino a happy 13th birthday. He turns a teenager today. My, I can't believe that. Luke Marino, happy 13th birthday, and many more happy returns. Now, coming up in just a few moments, Keys to Confident Living, and we'll take you down memory lane with some classic oldies right here on 100.9 FM and 590 AM.
Former Vice President Dan Quayle said in a speech, "The family is a sacred institution entrusted with the world's most important work. It is not only nature's masterpiece, as someone once said, it is first and foremost God's masterpiece. Society is only as strong as the families who live within it. A society that must install metal detectors at the schoolhouse door has lost the proper safeguards at the family front door." The Living Bible says, "Unless the Lord builds a house, the builder's work is useless." The psalmist saw houses being built all around the city. In fact, he may have been building one himself, but he saw that the house would only be an empty shell unless the Lord blessed those living inside. Ultimately, it is the Lord who helps us build the relationships that make for strong families. I at times while driving through our city pray for people in the houses I pass. As I pray, I often wonder if there is a happy family in that house or if they are only going through the motions. Do they really care about one another, or did they leave this morning in a huff? Is God helping them build the family unit, or do they feel like they don't need God's help anymore? God knows what is really important, and if we are willing to work hand in hand with Him, He is able to take what we have and multiply it so that it will have His blessing. For unless God helps us build the house, our work is useless. This is Bill Hostler with today's Key to Confident Living.
Over a half-century of family-friendly broadcasting.
This is WCAB AM.
from ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. One of the multiple women accusing New York Governor Andrew Cuomo of sexual harassment and intimidation is speaking out. Charlotte Bennett says she was offended by Cuomo's comments yesterday in which he denied any and all wrongdoing. She also says she now feels vindicated.
He blamed me and said that I simply misinterpreted what he had said, but his line of questioning was not appropriate. He was coming on to me, and he insinuated that survivors of trauma and sexual assault can't tell the difference between mentorship and leadership.
Several Democrats, including President Biden and New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio, say it's time for the governor to resign. Health experts say the rise in COVID cases among children could start a new surge when students head back to school shortly.
The new summer COVID surge raging across the country. Hospitals pushed to the limit, and from Florida, Louisiana to Missouri, a record number of COVID-19 patients. Pediatric cases nearly doubling, 72,000 just last week. With millions of students returning to the classroom, experts fear the worst is yet to come.
ABC's Morgan Norwood. The FDA is gearing up to give Pfizer's COVID shot full authorization this fall as President Biden gears up for the next public health crisis. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze is in Washington.
The president will meet in the Oval Office today with his science advisor, Dr. Eric Lander, about how to prepare for future pandemics. It's the only event on the president's schedule after he delivered a speech Tuesday urging more Americans to get vaccinated.
The CDC issuing new rent moratorium in counties with substantial and high levels of coronavirus transmission, and that covers about 90% of the country. Labor leaders pushing again for a union vote at the Bessemer, Alabama Amazon location. The National Labor Relations Board ruled the company interfered with the April election in which warehouse workers overwhelmingly rejected a plan to unionize. This is ABC News.
Can you name the 3 habits of healthy hygiene? We shower, we brush our teeth, and we... Wait a minute. What third habit? Think about it. The pandemics reminded us that the nose is your body's filter against a constant invasion of airborne germs. Your nose traps allergens, bacteria, and viruses, but like any filter, the more it's clogged up, the less it works. Now it's easy to clean your nose with Navage. My name's Martin Hoke, and I did not invent nasal irrigation. It's been around thousands of years, but I did invent Navage to make nasal irrigation an easy habit for everyone. Navage uses powered suction to flush out germs that cause congestion, or worse, can make you very sick. People love Navage. It has 4.7 stars with over 70,000 online reviews. And over 2 million people use Navage to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. Go to Navage.com or find Navage at Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, Bed Bath, and select Walmarts. Make cleaning your nose your third habit. Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Gusty winds expected across parts of the West, making it tough on firefighters trying to get a handle on dozens of wildfires. The Dixie Fire in Northern California jumping a containment line and is now burned over 250,000 acres. A grim discovery weeks after a jogger went missing in Northern California.
After weeks of searching for 38-year-old Philip Kraychick in a park in the town of Pleasanton, a body has now been found off the main running trail down an area where animals normally go and under a tree. Alameda County Sheriff Sergeant Ray Kelly.
Collectively, that our mood is very somber. We're pretty heartbroken over this. We've invested a lot of time and energy and care.
A cause of death isn't clear, but he says there are no signs of foul play. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Spirit Airlines still trying to recover after weather, staffing, and IT problems combined for another day of flight cancellations. Nearly 400 flights were grounded yesterday. And 2 dreams coming true in one wrestling match at the Olympics. Team USA's Tamira Mensah-Stock became the first black woman in Olympic history to win gold. And she now says most of the money she will get from the U.S. Olympic Committee for the win in wrestling will go to making her mom's dream come true.
My mom's getting her food truck. She's gonna have her little cooking business. She can cook really
Her mom cooks barbecue, but Mensah-Stock says she can't enjoy it anymore. She's a pescatarian now. This is ABC News.
The U.S. dollar is plummeting. Protect your savings against inflation with precious metals. I'm Dinesh D'Souza for Birch Gold Group. Birch Gold Group is who I trust to help you protect your IRA or 401k with gold and silver. With thousands of satisfied customers, an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau, get a free information kit by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. Again, text PROTECT to 989898 today.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Pockets of lingering showers will continue to clear out. Some areas, especially to the west, could see some sunshine, and that will lead to some warmer temperatures. Our highs today will head into the upper 70s and lower 80s. Those who do see more sunshine could see those temperatures in the 80s. Overnight will fall into the low to upper 60s with mostly clear conditions around. Tomorrow, highs will top in the low to mid 80s, a small chance of rain possible. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
66 degrees currently and sunny skies here in the foothills. Going to be a beautiful day. Warming up to about 81 with no rain in the forecast today, but some gusty winds about 11 miles per hour. Little pop-up showers some few days this week, and the weekend looks real good for us. 5 minutes after 8 o'clock, and we have the chairman of the school board on the phone with me right now to give us a report, and we'll have that report right after this.
Honey, I got the new Premier Cash scratch-off.
Oh, what should I wear? Sequins or satin?
We could win millions. Go with sequatin.
Yeah, sequatin.
The champagne is chilled.
Did you get doggy's tux?
Yeah.
Play like a millionaire. Premier Cash from the North Carolina Education Lottery with top prizes of $2 million. It's the most premier thrill around. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 3.08. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Now let's welcome Philip Morrow, school board chair, Rutherford County School Board, on the air with us right now. He's on the phone, and we're happy to talk with him. Philip, good morning.
Good morning, Jim.
Hope you're doing well today on this beautiful day.
Yes, sir. Doing good on this happy Wednesday.
I'm sure it was an interesting meeting last night, and one of the questions folks are wanting to know, did you put in restrictions on school kids for this year?
No restrictions regarding mask, Jim.
Yes.
We as a board last night voted to allow masks to be optional. So it is up to the parent whether they want to send their child to one of our schools next year. If they want to send them with one, they can wear it. If they don't, it is optional.
Well, I think that's fair. I think it's a fair assumption. A lot of folks would like to have that kind of choice rather than being mandated, because some kids just can't handle those masks all day.
Sure, Jim. And also, Jim, what we did, we just reaffirmed with the expiration of the governor's executive order last Friday. Masks became optional anyway, but we wanted to go ahead and show the community that we as a board agree with making it optional. And so we went ahead and placed that vote in front of the board last night, and it passed unanimously.
Good. What else to talk about?
Jim, the entire meeting, with the exception of a few recognitions, we did recognize Miss Emma Neal last night as the 2021 Distinguished Young Woman of Rutherford County of North Carolina and the first runner-up of Distinguished Young Woman of America. So we started off the meeting recognizing her, and then the rest of the meeting, Jim, was pretty much spent on the new processes around COVID for the upcoming school year.
Any new things that parents need to know about any new restrictions pertaining to school? Or the calendar is going to be remaining the same, or people going to be able to come to public events?
The calendar will remain the same, Jim. There was no change of that. The first day for the traditional schools will still be August the 23rd. Far City Dunbar is already back in session, and Reach will start next week. So the calendars have remained the same.
Okay. Any restrictions on meeting publicly in the auditoriums and events like that?
No, there's no restrictions. If anyone is interested in the latest update to the North Carolina Strong Schools Toolkit, which is kind of what we had to abide by last year, it was updated again just a few days ago on July the 29th, and I would encourage each parent to pull that up and read that. A lot of changes from last year's toolkit. It definitely gives the local boards much more ability to make more decisions for their local district based on where they currently are with COVID cases.
Okay, some of my listeners also wanted me to ask you this, Philip. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but you happen to be the chairman, so you're the one that gets to questions, I guess. They want to know.
We were on the spot all night last night, Jim.
A lot of people want to know if the CRT, the critical race theory, is going to be taught in the schools in Rutherford County.
Yes, so there has been no direction or guidance whatsoever for CRT to be taught in Rutherford County schools.
So that means that, as far as you know, they will not be taught. It's not a part of the subject material.
As far as I know, Jim, if someone runs across that or their child mentions that, be sure and let us know.
Okay. What else was any controversial things going on last night?
No. It was like I say, it was just a long meeting, Jim. I think we got out there a little after 10 o'clock last night. So I believe we went from the shortest meeting, the meeting prior to this one, to the longest meeting being last night. So
Wow.
I think we equaled out our average last night.
Well, at the beginning of a school year, I guess that's expected since you're starting into a new year, new school year, and a lot of things happening. I guess that was expected, right?
Absolutely, and that was fine to stay that long as we got everything lined up for this coming school year.
Okay.
Looking for a very successful school year coming up, Jim, here in just a few weeks.
Got all the teachers you need?
I believe there's still some applications out there that may have not been filled. Please go to the website if you are interested to see if those vacancies are still available, and if they are, we would love for you to fill out an application.
All right. Well, we appreciate the service that school board members render to our community, because it is oftentimes a controversial seat to sit in, because there's so many lives that are touched by the decisions that are made by the school board and the superintendent and the folks around. So I appreciate folks willing to step up to the plate and offer themselves as sometimes a lightning rod, but still help to make decisions that's best for every student and teacher in the county and the parents as well.
Well, Jim, we appreciate those words of encouragement. We really do.
So anything else you need parents to know about? Anything that we need to know?
At this time, Jim, that's all that we can think of. Like I say, a lot of the decisions that we made last night, the superintendent and his senior staff will be working through those, and the information will be coming out to the parents shortly.
All right. Philip Marr, thank you so very much for your time this morning. I know you're a busy man, but I appreciate you spending a little time with us. Our audience always likes to know what's been going on. And so thank you for sharing that information with us, and you go have a great day.
I appreciate you having me, Jim.
Philip Marr there with the chairman of the Rutherford County School Board, and as you heard him say, no restrictions were placed on. It's an optional thing for parents with a mask for students, which is we were hoping that was going to be the case. No restrictions where they're mandating and forcing it into the issue. And we hope North Carolina will not get into that at all, although the city of New York City, making the vaccine mandatory. You cannot eat in restaurants, go to a show, go any place public unless you've had your vaccine. And they're going to be checking that. I don't know what that's called. Is that called what's that called when you have to show something that you had a shot or something? I don't know. But anyway, some of those liberal cities like that are going in that direction. I hope our governor will not follow that direction and make his own decision about what's best for North Carolina. With our state being so rural in many cases, outside of Charlotte, Raleigh, Durham area, Winston-Salem, most of our state is considered kind of a rural state. We got folks up in around Silva and Western Carolina area and Waynesville. That's a rural area. That's not a New York City kind of thing. So we can't do what they do in New York City because we got a mayor up there in New York City who, he is mandated that everybody wear masks in public, in restaurants. It's going to kill business again there in New York City. Theaters will not survive under those conditions. Restaurants cannot survive. But because tourists, when they come into town, they may not know all those things, so they go to a restaurant. They can't go in, so they're going to go somewhere else. 14 minutes after 8 o'clock, we got the Sheriff's Report with Deputy Greenway coming up here in a few moments, and some news from here and there right after we do this.
It's our 30th anniversary, but you get the gifts. That's right, Carolina West Wireless is celebrating our anniversary and celebrating you in a big way with incredible savings, like $350 off a new iPhone 12 or a $150 credit when you bring in your own device. And as our special gift to you, get an additional $30 off any other device promo in our store. Stop by today and let's celebrate our 30th anniversary together. Carolina West Wireless, celebrating 30, celebrating you. Certain restrictions apply. See store for details or visit carolinawest.com/terms and conditions.
Well, you may or may not have known one of our Rutherford County commissioners contracted COVID-19 a few weeks ago, and he's okay now. He's encouraging others to consult with your doctors and consider getting vaccinated. Commissioner Greg Lovelace was vaccinated for COVID-19 in February. Even though while on a beach vacation in July with extended family members, he contracted the illness after having been vaccinated. After getting home that weekend, he purchased some home COVID testing kits. He said he had a mild cough, but on Thursday it seemed to be getting a little worse while they were at the beach. I took the first one and it didn't really give a clear indication, so a little while later I took the second test and it was positive. Lovelace went into quarantine for more than a week. He suffered through coughing, headaches, and some fever. But I had nothing like a lot of people with COVID have suffered through, Lovelace said. He said, I truly believe that if I had not been vaccinated, my case of COVID would have been far worse. I am grateful to have gotten the vaccine. Lovelace readily admits that initially he had hesitations and was unsure of whether he would take the vaccine in the first place. So I consulted with my doctor, he said, and the doctor told me clearly that for my longevity, I should be vaccinated. And so that was it for me. I was vaccinated. Lovelace's other family members on the beach trip had also been vaccinated. He was the only one with the breakthrough COVID case. And that's strange. I understand that taking the vaccine is a personal decision. He said, I also believe that I made the right decision to get vaccinated. It helped me, Lovelace said. So he's encouraging people who have not been vaccinated to consider doing so after talking with your doctor. So I'm glad he's okay. You wouldn't think after the vaccination that you would get it, and being at the beach and the family members exposed to the same thing, none of them got COVID. Well, that's kind of like it was in my house 2 years ago when we first was tested positive. We had the family members in staying with us for a period of time from New York. My daughter and 2 grandsons staying in the house with us. We both tested positive. All of them tested negative right in the same house. And so Karen was looking after us and running our errands for us because we were sort of isolated. And she kept being tested, never tested positive, always tested negative. So it's strange how that affects a lot of people. But fortunately, we hope it's going to be over soon. Rutherford County is set to receive millions of dollars in new federal funding through the American Rescue Plan. Significant funding is being provided to local governments across the United States in response to the economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. Rutherford County Commissioners voted to formally accept the ARP funds at their meeting Monday night. County Manager Steve Garrison said his office is working to ensure it has the accounting structure in place to be able to comply with all the reporting requirements. The total amount Rutherford County government will receive is estimated to be slightly more than $13 million. The first track of these funds in the amount of $6.5 million has already been received. The funds must be spent only for certain purposes specifically authorized by the federal legislation that created ARP. That's the American Rescue Plan. These uses of funds must be COVID-related. Garrison pointed out that a 151-page document from the federal government lists the guidelines. Garrison said potential projects could relate to enhancing behavioral and mental health services, support the local health and safety workforce, improve the design and execution of health and public health programs, and address disparities in public health outcomes. So hopefully that'll be used for good purposes. I'm not surprised when it said 151-page document from the government. I've never seen the government turn anything down that's in just a few pages. Well, Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson in March announced the launch of a task force to address growing concerns among public school parents about political and cultural indoctrination in the classroom, specifically related to critical race theory. I asked Philip Morrow a while ago if he knew of any of that being taught in Rutherford County schools. He said he did not know that, and it expressed earlier that they would not tolerate that. The task force, called Fairness and Accountability in the Classroom for Teachers and Students, or FACTS, is composed of education professionals representing all levels of K through 12, including teachers, administrators, and university professors. The group opened a submissive portal for concerned parents, teachers, and residents to report examples of possible indoctrination in violation of the Code of Ethics for North Carolina educators. Carolina Journal, who is reporting this story, was able to review a sample of submissions to the portal in advance of the task force first release and analysis of initial finding. One parent of a Wake County high school student described assignments from her child's English teacher that focused specifically on white privilege and systemic racism, not as general concepts and definitions, but presented as a certified perspective. In one assignment, students were told to select among content from the New York Times a video series titled Who, Me, Biased? To evaluate examples of the aforementioned terms. One episode is labeled Peanut Butter, Jelly, and Racism, and argues implicit bias is a more subtle form of racism than everyone, even the students, is engaged with. That's one teacher, but the Wake County public school system, the largest district in the state, has itself garnered national attention for incorporating CRT at a professional development level. The City Journal's Christopher Rufo reported on an equity-themed teachers' conference with sessions on whiteness, microaggressions, racial mapping, and disrupting text, encouraging educators to form equity teams in schools and push the new party line, anti-racism. Several submissions to the task force portal drew attention to this specific teacher training in Wake County. So our Lieutenant Governor is forming a task force to fight that race. The critical race theory philosophy in schools. So I applaud him for that wholeheartedly. We don't need, a lot of things. Students will grow up, children will grow up holding hands with opposite race people, loving on them, playing with them, and until they're told something about racism, they don't know what that is. But we indoctrinate them with our own talk, our own training, our own situations where we tell them, I don't know about that, but let them grow up loving each other, holding hands with whoever they want to hold hands with in terms of racial equality. It's not something that we need to worry about instilling in their minds. They'll do the right thing if we'll just let them. 22 past 8 o'clock. Deputy Greenway coming up here in just a moment.
Do you need some extra money in your pocket? Try Insurance Service Associates, your local independent agent. We can shop your auto and home insurance with several companies to get you better coverage and the best rate. Insurance Service Associates at 127 East Trade Street in Forest City for auto, home, or commercial insurance. More choices, better coverage, best rate. That's Insurance Service Associates, 245-5301.
Hey, Greer, where you going?
I'm out of dog food. I'm trying to get to the grocery store before the crowd hits.
Just go to Rutherford Pet Supply.
Rutherford Pet Supply?
Yeah, you don't even have to go in. Just go to their drive-thru window, tell them what you need, or you can go online at rutherfordpet.com. Just whiz through the drive-thru. They have top brand merchandise at guaranteed lowest prices, and if they aren't the lowest, they'll match it and give you 10% of the difference.
Can I call?
Yep, 248-2336.
I don't have to get out of the car? Hey, that's great. That means I don't have to put on...
Rutherford Pet Supply, 115 Reservation Drive in Spindale. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. until 6 p.m., caring for the furry members of your family. Use our drive-thru, and you won't even have to get out of your pajamas.
Smith's Drugs of Forest City would like to thank all who participated in this year's Meet Me at the Fountain 5K race. This year's beneficiaries were the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, the Chase Corner Ministries, and the Yoke Fellow Service Center. Many thanks go out to the Bostic Florist, Trinity Christian School, Gilkey Lumber, Forest City Welding, Main Street Swimmer, 113 Event Venue, RS Speedy, Ken Rogers Sales, and thanks to Andrew of Event Mercenaries for the promotion, run timing, and management of the online sign-up of participants. Thanks again to all who participated at the Meet Me at the Fountain 5K run from all of us here at Smith's Drugs of Forest City.
Okay, in the last 24 hours, we've had 184 calls, made 11 arrests. There's currently 186 in the jail. Got 2 of our incident reports to read off. Robert Scruggs reported a incident of felony breaking and entering the motor vehicle. And we had Brandy Mode reported breaking and entering the motor vehicle and felony larceny. And got some arrest reports to read off. Rodney Brown was arrested for possession of methamphetamine, drug paraphernalia. Floyd Tate was arrested for simple assault. Robert Shepard was arrested for failure to appear on misdemeanor. We had Harold Bracken was arrested for failure to appear on misdemeanor. Jacob Green arrested for failure to appear on misdemeanor. Amber Rich was charged with possession of controlled substance in the jail. Christian Harden arrested for breaking and entering. We had Pamela Plemons was arrested for possession of methamphetamine. We had Angela Morrow was arrested for multiple drug possession violations. Misty Ledford was also arrested for multiple drug possession violations, and that's all we got for you this morning.
On Thursday, the U.S. will face the loser of today's matchup between South Korea and unbeaten Japan. Another win, and the Americans will play for its first gold medal in baseball since 2000. As for the medal count, the U.S. continues to lead in the total overall medals combined, 76 gold, silver, and bronze. China leads the gold race with 32, 7 more than the U.S.
Wait a minute. I know you. You play basketball for the Los Angeles Lakers.
I'm sorry, son, but you must have me confused with someone else.
No, the kid had it right. Carmelo Anthony has agreed to a 1-year deal to join the Lakers and longtime friend LeBron James. The deal can't be officially announced until Friday. The commissioners of the Pac-12 and Big 12 are discussing how the two conferences might benefit from working together or maybe even merging. Two people with knowledge of the meetings told the Associated Press about the talks as the Big 12 is trying to rebound after learning Texas and Oklahoma plan to leave for the SEC in 2025. The Pac-12, however, has not indicated it is in a rush to add any members. This is NCN Sports.
It's upsetting to see our country's aging water systems, electric grid, pipelines, roads, and bridges all breaking down. Our energy and telecom networks under attack from foreign enemies. It's time to protect what makes America great by investing in our infrastructure. It's time to invest in us. Upgrading and repairing our infrastructure is good common sense. It's saying so long to potholes and blackouts, and hello to cleaner air and water, and lower prices, greater economic freedom, stronger national security, and a healthier environment. That's good for our families, good for America, and good for our future. Contact Senators Richard Burr and Tom Tillis. Urge them to vote for the Senate infrastructure plan that focuses on rebuilding America and invests in North Carolina. Tell Senators Burr and Tillis it's time to invest in us. Learn more at let'sinvestinus.com. Paid for by Citizens for Responsible Energy Solutions.
A law firm hired to investigate gender equity concerns at NCAA championship events says the association has not lived up to its own standards. The report recommends holding the men's and women's Final Fours at the same site. It also calls for financial incentives to schools to improve their women's basketball programs. The review was requested in March after the NCAA failed to provide equal amenities to the teams in the men's and women's D1 basketball tournaments. Naomi Osaka has pulled out of a hardcourt tune-up to be played in Montreal this month ahead of the U.S. Open. The tournament announced the withdrawals of Osaka and 2 other top 10 players who won Grand Slam titles. Osaka is coming off a third-round loss at the Tokyo Olympics, her first tournament since withdrawing before her second-round match at the French Open due to a mental health issue. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
Pockets of lingering showers will continue to clear out. Some areas, especially to the west, could see some sunshine, and that will lead to some warmer temperatures. Our highs today will head into the upper 70s and lower 80s. Those who do see more sunshine could see those temperatures in the 80s. Overnight will fall into the low to upper 60s with mostly clear conditions around. Tomorrow, highs will top in the low to mid 80s, a small chance of rain possible. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Well, it's another great getting up morning here in the foothills. Beautiful day outside and 67 degrees, warming up to about 81 with some wind gusts to about 11 miles per hour. Another beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's 8:30. This is WCAB Rutherfordton, serving the foothills of the Carolinas. Time now for the Word of Faith Fellowship radio program. And with the program this morning is Mark Doyle.
Good morning. This is Mark Doyle with Word of Faith. I'm so glad you're able to listen in. And I know some people listening on our website, so it could be any time of the day for you. So thank you for joining in and listening to our program this morning. Got lots of things I want to share with you, and I was just thinking a lot about, in this day and hour we live in, it's good to know what God says about things, because it just seems like everybody wants to argue these days, more so than ever, and everybody seems to have a strong opinion about everything. Best example I can think of growing up was, if you start talking about pickup trucks, you tell somebody Ford's the right pickup truck, that's the best pickup truck. No, it's Chevy. The Dodge person says, no, it's Dodge. And people just can argue to the death about anything and everything. And so, but we want to know what God says about things. They're saying that we've got to be vaccinated. They say we can depend on the science on things. We're going to go with the science. We're going to follow the science. And, I understand what that means in a logical sense, but much higher than that is I'm going to follow Jesus, because I want to know what God says about that or anything. And whatever I would do that would not be in faith in my heart with a conviction knowing that it has God's approval on it, I don't want to do it. Regardless of what it is, whether it's when I leave the program and I get in my car and what direction I go and what I do, I want to hear from God. And that's a life that I want to live. That's the life we want to live, because that's the place of God's protection. And so I'll start off with this verse in 1 Corinthians chapter 8. He was talking, in verse 4, he's talking about, in the matter then of eating food offered to idols, we know that an idol is nothing, has no real existence. So he's dealing with eating food that's been sacrificed to idols, and that there is no God but one God. For although there are many so-called gods, there's a lot of voices, whether in heaven or on earth, as indeed there are many of them, both gods and lords and masters. Yet for us, it says in verse 6, yet for us is only one God. There's only one God, the true and living God, the creator of heaven and earth, who is the source of all things and for whom we have life, and one Lord Jesus Christ, through and by whom are all things, and through and by whom we ourselves exist. As for us, there's just one God. And what God has to say is really all that matters. And that is the most important way to live our lives. Jesus knows everything. He knows everything about everything. There is nothing that God doesn't know about and has something to say about it. And so it's the best way to live our lives is to seek God and say, whatever it is, what do you say about it, Jesus? What do you say about it? Because they're saying this and they're saying that, and I'm thinking this, and I've always wanted that, and I don't want this, and you can have that going on in your heart and all around you. But what clears the air, what matters most is what does God say about it? Because in the end, we all will stand before him, and we'll have to answer to him. And he's the one that will decide whether we did what he wanted us to do, or we followed man, we followed our own will, our own course, we followed the devil. And what a sad day that will be if I don't do God's will. And I mean, even my being here and living here in North Carolina and going to the Word of Faith Fellowship, that all started with one question. What do you say, God? Because someone was telling me, you don't want to go there, and they said bad things about the church, and they said bad things about Sam and Jane, and I knew them, and I knew what I felt in my heart, but I didn't, here comes this voice, and here comes this influence, and I simply asked the question, what do you say? What do you say? And it wasn't that I heard something that second, but within a short amount of time, I heard as clear as can be the verse that says, these are they that have turned the world upside down. And I knew God said that, and I knew what it meant. That meant they were of God, and this place was of God. And that settled it in for me. That settled it completely in my heart whether the Word of Faith Fellowship in Spindale, North Carolina, and Sam and Jane were of God or were not of God, because God spoke to me. I had plenty of other voices, and I had lots of influences, but that didn't matter because I want to know what God had to say about it. As for me, God is my source. And as for you, God needs to be your source of whatever it is. And I'm so glad I asked. I'm so grateful I heard that God spoke to me, and I'm so grateful I made the decision to come. I mean, it's been the best decision of my life. I mean, I wouldn't have Suzanne. I wouldn't have my wife. And there's nobody else in this world for me but her. She is perfect for me. She is the one that God gave to me, and you can't talk me out of it. No devil can come and tell me otherwise. I know that God gave her to me. And if I didn't have Suzanne, I wouldn't have my daughter, my precious daughter, Audrey, who is such a blessing to me. I mean, I can't imagine not having these two people in my life, not to mention all the other blessings that have been in my life. But for somebody that was a loner and it looked impossible and it looked like something that would never happen, and to have the will of God and to know it's the will of God and to love them and them love me and we just absolutely have the best time together all the time. There's nothing better. I'm so grateful for that decision. And I've said before in other radio programs, the one thing that I was always good at is making a mess. I was not good at making things work good. But God is the opposite. All he's good at is making your life something good and something beautiful and bringing happiness and peace and joy. And that's how I want to live my life in every decision. And, in the world, it was one way back then, that 30 years ago. It's a whole other different world today. And those influences and those sways of this current age, they're even stronger than ever. And the voices that are now in the earth to turn your heart away from God, to discourage you, to make you frustrated and angry, they're even greater. And how much more so since you asked Jesus, what do you say about it? And to know in your heart that you are restrained and you are led and you're controlled by God himself. That's the life that, yet as for us, is only one God, the Father, who is the source of all things. Whatever you're going through, God's the source. He is the answer to your questions about everything. And there's not enough time in the day to go over for those that inquire of God in this day and hour and the miracles that they're seeing and the answers to prayer and God coming in and intervening in situations for those that are seeking him and inquiring of him and asking him step by step, what do I do, Jesus? I'm not making a decision apart from you. I'm not doing it. I've already done that before, and this is life and death for my father, for my mother, for my child, for my loved one, for my life. But if we take it one step at a time and we wait on God's voice to come to us, then life will be good because God wants to help us and he wants to be our source. And we were created by God to worship him, which means to serve him, which means to hear him, which means to obey him, which means to love him and be like it was before the fall of man in the garden where we walk with God and it all is good. And so in John 10, Jesus says about his people, they will never this is John 10 verse 5, they will never on any account follow a stranger, but will run away from him because they do not know the voice of strangers or recognize their call. And with all the things that are being said today and now in the news, within even the government, within work, everywhere, you can know when you're seeking God, there with all these different voices and influences and things that people are saying, you better do this, you better not do that, you've got to do this, and you've got to wear a mask, you shouldn't wear a mask, and masks don't work, they do work, all the different arguments that are going on. I want to be that sheep that runs from the stranger but listens to God's voice and obeys him. And he goes later on in the chapter in verse 27, he says, the sheep that are mine, that are my own. That's what I want to be. Isn't that what you want to be? The sheep that belong to God, hear and are listening to my voice. And I know them, and they follow me. And that's how we should live our lives. We should be listening, inquiring, asking. I want to hear your voice, Jesus, because it says very clearly in the scriptures that God has given us the capacity to hear his voice and to obey. That was revelation, absolute revelation for me. Nobody I knew growing up talked about hearing God's voice. You'd see it in the TV or the movies, or people would say, only crazy people hear voices. God, you'd hear the God gave you a mind, you need to use it. And God gave you common sense. It's just common sense, do this and that. But there was no one that I knew, no one that said that they asked God, they inquired of God, and God had spoken to them. And so this was a great mystery to me. And it was something that was always a longing in my heart. God, if you're real, which I believe you are, and I know that you're alive today, and I know that you exist, but I don't know how to hear your voice. I don't know what that means. And I don't want to be a crazy person, but I also want to be a person that has a relationship with you. And that was my great search. And God positioned my life and started putting my life around people that actually heard God's voice. And it was, I want that. I want that. And when I saw that verse that said that you had given mankind the capacity to hear and obey, that was it. God, you've given me the ability to hear your voice. Now teach me, show me how to do that. And it would be, I'd feel an impression on my heart. I'd feel a knowing that would come. And is that you? Is that the voice of God? And if it was, God would always confirm it. And if it was just my opinion or my will, it would never work out. And he began to work that in my life. And one way that I saw this in that beginning stage of just learning the voice of God was I would be in a church service, and I was from the beginning always part of praise and worship. I always was, up front singing, helping with the songs and singing the songs. And this thing would happen where I would look out to the congregation and I would see everybody, but one person would stand out more than any other. And it was almost as if everybody else was kind of fuzzy and that one person was clearer. And I would it would be a momentary thing, and then I would go, we'd be singing, go on, the church service would go on, and that would be the person that all of a sudden God would pick out in a service and minister to. And I realized that was the Spirit of God showing me, pointing that person out to me. And it was just something that began to happen. I began to realize when that voice comes, when that impression comes, that's the Spirit of God starting to speak to me and show me things. And that was so important for me because I didn't grow up with any kind of knowledge, of any kind of awareness, of any kind of knowing the voice of God. It was a strange thing to me. But yet, on the other hand, the Bible says that no one can come to Jesus unless the Father draws them. That drawing power of God was definitely on my life. I didn't understand it, but it was definitely there. There was this constant wanting to know Jesus, and I didn't know him, and yet I wanted to. And everyone around me loved the world and wanted to do the things of the world and wanted to get drunk and do drugs and, fornicate and give to sin and just everything. Everyone around me was that way, and everyone had an opinion about everything. And a lot of people around me didn't even believe in God. That was just something that, some people that were weak. And yet all the while, this is going on all around me, God himself was drawing me. So in Proverbs chapter 3, it says in verse 5, lean on, trust in, and be confident in the Lord with all your heart and your mind, and do not rely on your own insight and understanding. I think this is one of the hardest things for a carnal man to do, is to not lean on their own understanding. I mean, we all have a thinking about everything, and in our culture and in our way of life, we all have an opinion about everything, and what we like and what we don't like, and what we think and what we don't think. It says, but in verse 6, in all your ways, know, recognize, and acknowledge him, and he will direct and make straight and plain your paths. That's the way that we're to live our lives. You know, I have a really good example. I work with David Calder, and it's his testimony, but it's so powerful. He was needing a pickup truck. Here we go about pickup trucks. And what's the best pickup truck? A Ford, a Dodge, a Chevy, a Toyota. He drives Toyotas. And he was needing a pickup truck. And all you have to do is drive by car dealerships right now, and they're pretty much empty. So there's, it's hard to find a decent vehicle right now. And so he was thinking of inquiring and asking for what God wanted him to get, and he was just really feeling like God was putting his heart to get a Dodge, and because of whatever reasons that it pulls a certain kind of trailer and a certain kind of weight, that's what he began to feel the best about in his heart. And he was looking for a 2-door and all that, and then his son Blake said, but Dad, your grandson won't be able to be with you if you get a 2-door. You got to get a 4-door. He said, that's right. And that one little adjustment, and he looked and he saw a vehicle en route to a particular dealership, called immediately on it, got the one salesperson. The one salesperson says, well, it's actually here, and we're getting ready to clean it up. He goes, I want it. I want it. Do you want to come in and test drive? No, I want it. And he bought it right there. And a brand new 4-door Dodge truck that is exactly what he needs. It matches his trailer. And I thought, that's a perfect example. Everybody says, how did you get that? And that is, in all his ways, he was acknowledging God. He was not locked into one thing or the other. He was just asking God step by step, waiting on God's voice, and even where the voice of God came to him through his son. And he didn't say, no, I don't want a 4-door. I don't want to drive around a 4-door. He didn't do that. He was not dogmatic. And he has a brand new truck at a time when you can't even find these things. And so that's a natural situation. But it says, in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct and he will make straight and plain your path. And that was really a testimony to me of, if I inquire of God and I don't have an opinion, but I'm saying, God, what would be best? Then God's going to lead and control me, and I'm going to have his will, and I'm going to be blessed. It's not that God just wants to bless one man over the other. It's whoever will seek God with all their heart and not lean into their own understanding, but acknowledge God. Acknowledge God when you want to buy a pickup truck. Don't be, or whatever it is. We want the will of God. In Isaiah, it says, in chapter 55, it says in verse 3, incline your ear, submit and consent to the divine will, and come to me. Come to God. Hear, and your soul will revive, and I will make an everlasting covenant or league with you. I mean, this is God Almighty wanting to come into an agreement, a covenant with you, where he's your God, and you're his people, you're his sheep, you're his true son. And I will make an everlasting covenant or league with you, even the sure mercy, the kindness, the goodwill, and compassion promised to David. And you read about how God loved David in the Bible. He'll love you if you incline your ear to God, if you submit to God, if you consent to the divine will. And that you think about, that's what Jesus prayed. Not my will, but your will. Jesus set the example for you and me. We want the will of God. We want the will of God, and that's a work that has to take place in our hearts where we cry out, not my will, but your will. I mean, nothing will hit the demonic powers and assignments at your life. Nothing greater than if you just begin to cry out, God, not my will, but yours. Put that desire for the will of God in my heart, because that will is, a strong force in your life. And if you continue to seek your own will, you'll never find God. You cannot hear the voice of God. When I want my own way, my own will, what I want, I can't hear God. There's no seeking God. There's no inquiring of God. And you don't hear God's voice. And that's the major switch that you and I have to make in our lives if we want to hear what God Almighty has to say about things. And we definitely need his voice in this hour. So incline your ear, submit, consent to the divine will, and come to God. Make that your desire today. Come to God. And even your soul will revive. God will revive that all that frustration and that discouragement in your heart, and that whatever's going on, the power that will begin to break in your life as you begin to seek the will of God. Because it says in 2 Timothy, and it says in chapter 4, verse 3, for the time is coming when people will not tolerate, they'll not endure sound and wholesome instruction, but having ears itching for something pleasing and gratifying, they will gather to themselves one teacher after another, to a considerable number, chosen to satisfy their own liking and to foster the errors they hold. It says, for the time is coming. Sure feels like it's that time, doesn't it? It's more that time than it has ever been, of where people do not tolerate sound and wholesome instruction. You can't tell anybody anything because everybody wants to argue about everything. And it's bad. It's getting really bad. And the more that's in the earth, that is what witchcraft is. People enforcing their own will and losing their will at everybody else. And everybody seeking their own will and everybody doing what seems right to them. What it does, it makes it harder to hear the voice of God if you're not inquiring of God, because there's so many voices and so many opinions up there. It says that the time is coming, and we are definitely living in that hour. And they heap up to themselves, it says, more and more teachers to gratify that error that they hold in their heart. They want to hear what will agree with that error that's inside of them, rather than hear anything that would confront what's in their heart that's not pleasing to God. So it's good to hear the voice of God. It's good to hear truth, that what God has to say about things. It will confront that self-will that's in our lives. And these people will turn aside from hearing the truth, and they will wander off into myths and man-made fictions. It says, but as for you, be calm and cool and steady. Accept and suffer unflinchingly every hardship. Do the work of an evangelist. Fully perform all the duties of your ministry. So in the midst of the world going crazy, we're going to stay calm. We're going to stay cool. We're going to be steady. We're going to accept whatever suffering or persecution or hardships we have to go through. It's okay to go through things that don't work out. It's okay. It makes you more dependent upon Jesus. That's a good place to be. I mean, when you get in between what they call a rock and a hard place, and there's nothing you can do about it, and there's nothing you can do to change it, whether it's something in your own life or in your circumstances around you, trust me, it's the best place your life can be, because then you can't trust in yourself, in your own ability, you can't lean into your own understanding, and then you're finally in a place where God, unless you intervene, there's no hope. There's nothing I can do. I certainly can't change myself. I've tried to do it for years. I need you to change my heart, Jesus. I need you, Jesus. I mean, that's the person that God has a regard for. That's the person that God listens to. When you're at that place where you are totally needing, depending upon, trusting in, relying on Jesus, that's the best place to be. And the devil's always trying to keep you from that place. In Proverbs 16, it says in verse 25, there is a way that seems right to a man and appears straight before him. There is a way that seems right to a man and appears straight before him. But the end of it is the way of death. That is very serious. That shows me, and that speaks to me, how I can be totally deceived, thinking that I'm going the right way, doing the right thing, because I did inquire of God, but the end of it is death. My end will be death. I won't make it. I don't want that to happen to me. I don't want to be walking in a way that seems right and appears right. So there's always this, God, is this you? Is this of you, Jesus? Does this originate from you? Is this what you want me to be doing? I know so-and-so is doing that, but is that your will for me? I want your will. I don't want my will, because that warning from God says to you and me that we can be going on a path for our life, thinking it's right. It appears straight. It seems good, but the end of it is death. And all the while you think, hey, I got a hold of this. I'm doing good. Well, I don't know. I got no problem. And all the while you're totally deceived. We've got to hear God's voice, and we've got to know what God has to say about things. In Psalms 40, it says, this is that verse that says sacrifice, and in Psalms 40 verse 6, it says sacrifice and offering you do not desire. He doesn't want all those sacrifices and those offerings, nor have you delight in them. He doesn't delight in those. He says, you have given me the capacity to hear and obey your law, a more valuable service than burnt offerings and sin offerings, which you do not require. God doesn't want us to go, like they did in the Old Testament, get an animal and sacrifice it, offer it unto God. He doesn't have any pleasure in that. What is much more greater is for us to hear his voice and obey him. That is the most pleasing thing to God, is for us to have a heart that is humble before him and say, God, without you, I can't do it. And I've got to hear your voice. And I won't take a step. I won't do it until the voice comes to me. And that's what's pleasing to God. And that's our service unto God. And that's how you and I have got to learn to live our lives. And so out of that, I wanted to share this verse because I was thinking about it a lot. It's one of the saddest accounts in the Bible, and it's in Proverbs chapter 7, and I won't go through the whole thing, but in verse 7 it says, among the simple, empty-headed and empty-hearted ones I perceived among the youth a young man void of good sense. And have I not seen that through my life? Sauntering through the streets, so he's walking through his life, near the loose woman's corner, and he went the way of her house. And I've seen this in my life and in the life of a lot of young people, and a lot of people, not just young, where they go through their life sauntering through the streets, open to evil. Open to evil, it says in one verse. So in verse, jumping up, he goes into her house, and it says, with much justifying, verse 21, and enticing argument. That devil is after you and me. She persuades him with the allurements of her lips, and she leads him to overcome his conscience and his fears and forces him along. And, to me that speaks in light of that other verse. You think you're doing your own thing and it seems right to you, but all the while that demonic power is forcing you along, seducing you and seducing your heart away from God, and you don't even know it because you're just going through life like, well, what's the problem? I got a head. I can use it. I got common sense. I know it. I know what I like and I know what I don't like. And you live your life not inquiring of God. You're open to that evil, that enticing spirit. I mean, here it uses example of the harlot, that woman, that the adulteress pulling this young man into her bed. But it says, it speaks much louder to me of just our lives in general, and how the devil is that seducer, and he's the one that comes to kill and steal and destroy your life through this justifying and this enticing argument, and he persuades you and he allures you. And in verse 22, suddenly this young man, he yields and follows her reluctantly, like an ox moving to the slaughter, like one in fetters going to the correction to be given to a fool. I mean, just being led by that devil straight to hell, and like a dog enticed by food to the muzzle. So all the while that devil pulling your heart away from God, seeking God, from the call of God in your life, till a dart of passion pierces and inflames his vitals. Then like a bird fluttering straight into the net, he hastens, listen to this, not knowing it will cost him his life. It will cost you your life if you don't have a lifestyle of seeking God and inquiring of God. Not knowing it will cost him his life. Listen to me now, God says, O you sons, and be attentive to the words of my mouth. And that's how we want to live our life this day. We don't want to do things that will cost us our life, but we want to hear God's voice and obey him. Thank you so much for listening this morning. I'm so grateful for this time. You can go to our website at www.wordoffaith.org, and all our programs are there to listen to. And we love you, and we are holding on to all of you. Thank you.
WCAB.
Facing more calls for his resignation.
11 women coming forward is deeply, deeply disturbing.
That's New York Senator Kirsten Gillibrand. She and numerous other Democrats asking Cuomo to step aside after state investigators uncovered numerous incidents of sexual harassment. ABC's Aaron Katursky has the latest.
After the state attorney general said she believed all 11 women, former Cuomo aide Charlotte Bennett told ABC News she felt vindicated.
It has been a really long road, but yesterday was the start to something new.
Her attorney, Deborah Katz, told us Cuomo's videotaped statement fell short.
He still does not get it. He still wants to blame the victim. And shockingly yesterday, he blamed his mother for teaching him how to kiss people inappropriately.
Cuomo so far ignores resignation calls as the state legislature ponders impeachment. Aaron Katursky, ABC News, New York.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, a Democrat, expected to announce today that masks will be required at all public schools this fall. Other states, including Texas and Florida, both run by Republicans, have mandates saying that masks cannot be required. If you want to do anything in New York City this fall, you got to show proof. If you want to go to dinner, you want to go to the gym, got to show you proof you've been vaccinated.
With COVID cases surging nearly 600% in the last month, the mayor calling the new mandate, which rolls out September 13th, the key to the city's recovery. But not clear what this means for children under 12 who are not yet eligible to be vaccinated. Officials say they're still figuring that out.
That's ABC's Eva Pilgrim in New York. 4 COVID patients all dying at one Alabama hospital in one night. All 4 unvaccinated in Calhoun County between Birmingham and Alabama and Atlanta, Georgia. Only about a third of the people who are eligible to have been vaccinated have actually gotten the shot. You're listening to ABC News.
Can you name the 3 habits of healthy hygiene? We shower, we brush our teeth, and we... Wait a minute. What third habit? Think about it. The pandemics reminded us that the nose is your body's filter against a constant invasion of airborne germs. Your nose traps allergens, bacteria, and viruses, but like any filter, the more it's clogged up, the less it works. Now it's easy to clean your nose with Navage. My name's Martin Hoke, and I did not invent nasal irrigation. It's been around thousands of years, but I did invent Navage to make nasal irrigation an easy habit for everyone. Navage uses powered suction to flush out germs that cause congestion, or worse, can make you very sick. People love Navage. It has 4.7 stars with over 70,000 online reviews. And over 2 million people use Navage to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. Go to Navage.com or find Navage at Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, Bed Bath, and select Walmarts. Make cleaning your nose your third habit. Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Another day of flight cancellations for Spirit Airlines. Already this morning, the tracking site FlightAware says Spirit has canceled over 300 flights. Over the last several days, Spirit has been forced to cancel hundreds of flights per day, blaming weather, staffing shortages, and IT problems. Lebanon today marking 1 year since that explosion at the port in Beirut killed over 200 people. It was one of the largest non-nuclear explosions in history. Hundreds of tons of ammonium nitrate went up, all ignited by a fire at the port. A South Carolina cop fired, now facing charges after stomping on a man's head and neck. ABC's Chuck Severson has details.
Clarence Gaillard was holding a stick wrapped in shiny tape to use in case a dog tries to attack him when he's walking in Orangeburg, South Carolina. A policeman ordered him to the ground, but when surgical pins and rods in a leg kept the 58-year-old from lying flat, body cam video shows the cop stomped on his head and neck. Officer David Dukes was fired and charged with felony assault and battery. Gaillard's lawyer says he's grateful the body cam also shows another officer, Aquel Polidor, worked to calm things down and told a sergeant that Duke's explanation wasn't the whole truth. Chuck Severson, ABC News.
The new Barbie on the way, honoring the scientist who designed the Oxford coronavirus vaccine. Professor Dame Sarah Gilbert says she found it very strange at first. Her Barbie, one of 6 honoring women working in STEM fields. This is ABC News.
Legends of Nashville, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Nashville legend herself, Trisha Yearwood, wants to get another icon on her Food Network show. Linda Ronstadt